Hi guys, hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing good today. Um, Today we're going to talk a little bit about anxiety and depression, and I'm going to give you my uh, history, some of the things that I deal with, and that's what we're going to discuss today on homesteading and the great outdoors. So, like I mentioned earlier, I have depression and I have anxiety. I started having my first panic attack was back in about 2012 or 13. And I turned 40 in 2009. And I didn't realize, I knew that other family members had started going through depression and anxiety when they got into their early 40s, but I didn't connect the dots that what was going on with me was what was going on, what had to come be going on with them, people that were older than me in my family. Uh, and like I said, 2012, 2013, I think it was somewhere around there. I had my first panic attack. We had some guests over for dinner, and all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. I had no idea what was going on. I really thought it was a physical issue. I had no idea at that time that it was really a psychological issue. We had been to church and we had the missionaries from our church come over for dinner, which we did on a regular basis. Uh, there was no stress on my part on putting the dinner together or having the young people over. Um, so I certainly didn't contribute it to stress or anything like that. I just couldn't understand why I couldn't breathe. And I told my wife, I said, I've got to go to the bedroom. So I went to the bedroom and sat down and just tried to breathe, just focused on taking a breath. And my wife came in, and my memory's not real good since the stroke, but I remember I think she came in one time, and I just told her to leave me alone, just let me breathe. And then as time went on, a couple of maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, me just sitting there trying to concentrate on breathing, I decided I needed to go for a walk. So dinner was still going on at that time, and I just slipped out of the house, told my wife I was leaving, and I walked around the neighborhood. When I came back, I was better. Wasn't 100%, but I was better. The guests had left, the kids had gone off their own way, and I just was able to go into my room and just stay there and concentrate on breathing. I went to the doctor shortly thereafter just for a physical checkup, and I kind of mentioned what had happened to me. And he had asked me, he said, "Well, have you ever had anxiety before?" Well, I've never really even thought of anxiety before. And me, I no, I have never had anxiety before. And from that moment on, I realized I did. I just didn't realize what it was. And I started to seek professional help. I went and met with a recommended psychiatrist and got put on some medication. And it's not a heavy dosage. I don't have it big time like some of my friends do. Um, I have it worse than some people, but it's not heavy duty medicines. I've been on those medicines ever since. They do seem to help me out quite a bit, as long as I take them. Now, when I first started taking the medicines, this is shortly before my stroke, I tried to see if I could get off of them. Try to take as little as possible, not take the recommended amount, just take what I take as less as possible. And if I had little anxiety, I would just deal with it because I was going to beat this. Yeah, I'm tough. I've gone through a lot of things in my life, and this anxiety thing and depression thing, not a problem. I can whip it. That's just mental. That's just in your mind. Mind over matter. You can overcome it. You just have to work at it. That's how I've done with all my struggles. Is I've just put my head down and just bowled through whatever problem I've had and made it work. You know, and so I figured I would do the same thing with this. That's how I've done everything in my life. And never give up. You just keep trying. And it may be hard, but you'll win. Well, in consequences to that decision, as I've said in many videos before, you're free to choose, but you're not free to choose your consequences, the choices you made. Well, my choice was to reduce my anxiety medicine, and the result of that decision was a stroke. And I did talk to my psychiatrist about it, and he said, I can't tell you that you would not have had that stroke if you had been taking the prescriptions the way you're supposed to, but more than likely, it elevated your high blood pressure and you had a stroke because your anxiety. Anxiety just leads to stress, and stress leads to high blood pressure, and high blood pressure can lead to a stroke and a heart attack. So as I've said before in some other videos, it's internal. It's internal. It usually doesn't show itself externally unless you know me very well. There are days that I don't want to get out of bed I don't want to get out of bed, but I end up getting out of bed because there is a responsibility for me to do. I have to take care of myself, have to eat, have to just do things. So that gets me out of bed. And some days I just get up and get out of bed. I don't have a problem. And so it's a very inconsistent um, condition that I have, but it's real. And some of my family members have got it much worse than I do. They've been hospitalized for it. I have not been hospitalized yet for that. I hope I don't. I hope I try to do the best that I can. It's very difficult. And a lot of people don't understand. More and more people are starting to understand, but some people, they call it mental health. And I don't think it has anything to do with mental health. It's emotional health. There's actually chemicals in my body that are not working properly, and it's the same thing. I have high cholesterol. My cholesterol is so high. They said you can't eat that much cholesterol. Well, you can't possibly eat that much cholesterol. It's your body that's producing this cholesterol. Your body is not working correctly, and I've been like that since the first time I went in for. I didn't go to the doctors at all when I was in my 20s, and I went when I turned 30. My wife made me go, and found out I had 9 times higher than high. So on the cholesterol, and it's just your body. It's just your body, and maybe a little bit is situational with the anxiety and the depression. Uh, I feel that's the case with me. Sometimes I need to get away. I did that a lot. I've done that a lot in the past when I've had issues before I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. But it's gotten so bad, it's got me with some other physical issues. It's gotten me onto disability, and I'm not able to function like most people do. Um, but you just got to keep pushing on and take your medicines. And I know people that forget to take their medicines. I'm one of them, and we pay for that. We have to remember to do that. I have a friend that forgets, and he needs it really bad. He's got it a lot worse than I do, and he really suffers from that. And I understand. Uh, I understand that now. Now that I'm where I'm at and what I've gone through over the last 6, 7 years, 8 years, I've come to understand. I'm not going to call it mental illness. It's not mental illness. I mean, I've had mental damage done because of the stroke, but it's not mental. It's not my brain. I'm not any more stupid than I've always been. I'm not any smarter than I've ever been. I think it has anything to do with what I consider mental. I consider it emotional. Emotions, highs and lows, happy, sad, angry, disappointed, um, excited at times. That's emotions. So I think it's emotional health. I don't know why they call it mental health. People say, "Oh, he's got gone crazy in the head." No, I don't think so. Not for every case. Not for me. No. My, like I said, my mental issues are from a stroke. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to probably talk it a little bit more in depth. Feel free to leave any comments that you want to. Find somebody to talk to. My wife is a great support for me. She understands me. She is not a judgmental person. I've never met anybody like my wife. She doesn't judge anyone about anything. She's been through enough in her own life. Probably that's why she's the way she is. But she's a great support to me. Couldn't make it through this without her. So see a doctor if you need to. Get some support if you need to. If you're in a situation that you need to get out of, see if you can get out of it, or talk to somebody about how you can relieve the stress that may be in your life, and concentrate on the things that are important in this life. This life is short. I'm 50. It's a short life. There are more important things. This life is not it. When we die, it's not over. There's more to come. So enjoy this life. Don't stress. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's my advice. And like I've said in past videos, I can make a mountain out of a molehill real quick. Especially if I'm not on my medicine. I mean, that's it. If I'm not on my medicine, I can handle a mountain. Mountains, no problem at all. The molehills, those are the problems. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna let you go. Hope you guys have a great day. May the Lord bless you, and keep your heads up, one foot in front of the other. And we'll see you on the next video.